Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Super License F1 podcast. My name's Rodney.
And my name is Zach.
Coming in via satellite from parts unknown is the birthday boy himself, Zachary Priest. Zach, happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you, mate. I am now old. I am now firmly in my mid-30s. Thank you very much. I now prefer warm socks, walks along rivers, all of these kinds of things.
I like watching The Bill.
Yes. Oh, The Bill. Yep. Give me that's it. You know, I want a procedural cop show that paints everybody except the criminals in a good light. No, thank you. I am coming via satellite, all the way from Bonnie, Scotland. I'm in Whiskey region along the River Spey, Dufftown upon Spey, having gone for a walk along the banks of the Spey this morning to the genuine smells of whiskey being distilled at the Dufftown distillery. Yes, and it's a funny smell, that, because it's bready but sweet with that nice, if you ever thought, maybe I'll pour some vodka on my toast, that's kind of the smell.
Well, I won't lie, I have thought that.
So yes, I'm in a good mood. I couldn't think of anything better to be doing, on my birthday than being in whiskey country and getting to discuss a race with you.
Well, mate, I would give you a pinch and a punch in the arm, except, rumor has it, that you've got your microchips installed.
Yep, I am. You know what? That Bill Gates fella, he's great. And I think that if anything, we should be giving him some more money. Why not make him president of Earth? I would say.
Why not?
No, yep, you're right. If you can get vaccinated, do get vaccinated. I took my own advice and I got a jab thanks to the heroes of the NHS and all the volunteers. I don't mean that tongue in cheek. That is outstanding work that they're doing. They were super kind. And if you can get vaccinated, please, 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 please do. Because we need to get over this thing, so that we can get back to normal. So you can all start going back to F1 races and, seeing your mates, and to everybody who is being able to do that wherever you are in the world. I hope you're still being safe, but, if you can hug people, hug them tight, because you never know when we'll get another little spike and things will get worse again.
To paraphrase a music meme that I saw online, vaccinations are a gateway drug to watching F1 in person. So everyone should be on the lookout for that. Zach, it's the Monaco Grand Prix. It's your birthday weekend. Traditionally labelled your favourite race, and on your birthday weekend. What a coincidence. Before we talk about the Monaco race, though, I do have one point of news that I want to get to. This is kind of breaking news, I guess, which is that Austria has just cancelled flights from the UK based on concerns about, what it's about. Definitely a big problem for flights from the UK coming in. I believe that, given that we've got the French Grand Prix before the Austrian doubleheader, the planned doubleheader, most staff and equipment should be coming in from France. But having said that, this is a bit of a worrying sign, given that we were counting on them for 2 races, and we may now get 0 races.
Yeah, that is scary. I can imagine, if they can get everything out of the UK into France and then just drive everything across from Austria like they're probably planning to, that would be okay. Yeah. But there's still stuff like they do fly parts and people over, right? That's part of the thing. The part of racing in Europe that so many of the teams are based in the UK that it's going to be difficult to support that. I suppose they learned a lot last season about, how to move people around and how to prep for double headers like that. That is worrying though. We'll
watch this space, and I guess we'll be reporting in any news, obviously. Otherwise, 2 weeks off for old Rod and Zach. That sounds pretty good too. Either way.
A couple of episodes of Dare to Swear.
That's true. We'll be through this season in no time. But speaking of getting through things in no time, we've got a really boring race to talk about, and there's a few other segments that we would normally do, but we can't do. But given that Zach's on holiday, we're going to have a nice, leisurely, loungy cast, and we're going to get into the race recap for the Monaco Grand Prix. But be warned, this one may be a little shorter than usual. Let's try. See how we go.
Let us race a bit. I gave him space. Let's hurry up and get out of here. We've got a race to do.
What a great place for a race. We've been here a few times to Monaco, and usually, historically it's been pretty good. I remember there was a tweet of a photo that someone posted and I retweeted going, "Hey, look at that. Cars are 3 wide in Monaco." And I couldn't resist yourself jumping in going, "Look at that. The cars are so narrow. The cars are so wide. You can barely even fit one." Just like predictable on a dime. Set your watch to Zach's outrage about wide cars. But anyway, Before we get into any of that outrage, we have to do a 30-second recap of this race. Unfortunately, it's my turn in the rotation. Can you believe summing up this entire thrilling race with you could basically write a tome about this race, but I have only got 30 seconds to sum it up. How do you think I'll go, Zach?
How will you ever manage? I mean, it's for a race where so much happened. A mere 30 seconds, Rod. I mean, you'll be out of breath covering the vast amounts of 3 talking points.
Yeah, all 3. Well, I'll do my best. Let's start the timer and we'll see how we go. It was Leclerc who started on pole, but did he start on pole? No, not quite. And obviously, when you're a conspiracy nut and you follow Formula One, you're like, he cheated, but he didn't, of course. It was Max Verstappen's race to win, essentially. Valtteri Bottas's, the wheels came off his race, although that would have been nice. That was the actual problem. It was the opposite thing. Really, Mercedes had a dud one. Ferrari came good. Aston Martin came good. Perez did pretty well through strategy. And really, what else is there to say about this race other than, boy, this was a dud race. And everyone's talking about, how can we change this to make it better?
Well done. I mean, I reckon we should just pick up straight from that point of, wow, this was a dud race, because one of my favourite bits of commentary this weekend was Martin Brundle talking to David Croft. And David Croft was like, look, it's the spectacle of the thing. It's the vibe. It's Marbo. It's all of it. And Martin was like, yeah, you know what? Some races, we go to the speed circuits. We go to the fast, exhilarating races, but the season captures, this is all paraphrasing, of course, the season captures all parts of Formula One. And, it's good that just some races, they're just a bit more processional like this. And the other ones, and essentially all I took from that was, so what you're saying is, in a Formula One season, what we have to have is amazing races, okay races, and shit races, because that's really the spirit of Formula One. That really rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah, definitely getting the wrong point there. And, I mean, I heard other people say kind of the same thing. I don't tune in to watch Monaco to watch overtakes. I don't tune in to watch great racing. I tune in to watch these drivers go around the track. And I was like, fucking hell, you've got it completely wrong. What happened to you? What F1 track hurt you so bad that you just feel like that? F1 races should be exciting and thrilling and exhilarating. All of them, not just the ones with pretty boats by the side of the track.
Yeah, maybe we should just turn this into an exhibition race, right? Yeah, it's you do this in the middle of the year. They can put all of the reserve drivers in. It's one for the sponsors. Maybe we should turn it into a big festival of racing so that Formula E and the W Series and all of that can all happen on the same weekend as well. I don't know, but there is it just, especially in COVID times, it just smacks of what are we doing here? It is beautiful. And I mean, especially for the people who, I'd be really interested to hear from the people who over the last couple of years have gotten into Formula One, either via the Drive to Survive route or otherwise, who, we've had some pretty good races this season, and then come to a race like this and you can kind of be a bit like, oh, so it's really at 1 hour and 45 minutes of people just driving around in exactly the same order. Because it's not even that it's only through accidents is there scope for massive change in this race. And even then, usually, if you've got track position, you'll win.
I actually genuinely think the opposite, because I remember when I started watching Formula One and they went to Monaco, I was like, oh, Monte Carlo, Monaco, I've heard of this. And then you see it and you go, well, this looks brilliant. And then it's after, 4, 5, 6 years of watching, and every time Monaco is an absolute dud of a race, you start to go, oh, I miss when cars could overtake and pass and do pull moves. It was so good. So I don't know. I mean, I would be interested to hear too, but that's my gut feeling. Zach, I do want to talk about some of the racing points. So obviously, first thing, Leclerc taking sort of pole, setting sort of the fastest lap. I say sort of because no one else really got a chance to set a fastest lap. But he sets a fastest lap and puts it in the wall, which is obviously unfortunate for him. Then Ferrari, multiple times say, we've checked the car and it's fine. We're not going to take a penalty. We will take the pole position. Thank you very much. He wheels out onto the track. Oopsie daisy. The car is not going to start and we cannot take part of the race. So straight off the bat, stupidity from Ferrari. But heartbreaking for Leclerc, this is a real bogey track for him in that regard. He's
never finished at Monaco.
I think he hasn't even started a couple of races.
Oh, I mean, it's his home race, and you'd think, it was all kind of coming together. Ferrari were looking so good all weekend, all the way up to qualifying. this was going to suit them. Who's to say he wouldn't have finished on pole? I know everybody else didn't really get an opportunity to set a time. The classic, I set the fastest time, now crash. Of course, it's not actually, no one would actually do that on purpose, not to break their own car that bad. Maybe he hopes to crash it just a little bit and not that badly. But it's funny because I didn't read the news at all on Sunday morning, because we were kind of doing stuff on this holiday. Right. And then I swept back into the hotel room at like 1 minute to 2, flicked on the iPad just as they were, forming the grid, and I was like, Max Verstappen's at the front there. That's interesting. Yes. I wonder what's, a little brain faded. Like, I'm sure there was a reason why this was going to be exciting because someone, was Lance Stroll on pole, something like that. And no, it's, we're missing. So yes, heartbreak for Charles Leclerc. Can that boy take any more heartbreak? Is his whole career just going to be heartbreak after heartbreak? When will he get the thing that he deserves? How do you think Ferrari would have gone, though, if he was on pole? Do you think that would have drastically changed the race?
This is Monaco. He would have won.
Yeah, he would have won. That's true.
And then, obviously, we end up with this kind of, I don't know what you think about this. I think it's kind of a good podium. Max gets his first win at Monaco. Sainz and Norris, two guys that you love to see on a podium, especially those two with their history, their bromance. Not bad, I think. a positive-ish result, really, for the sport in a couple of ways, because likable people get good results. Also, Max Verstappen's there. But in terms of the championship, boy, this has really brought it back to life. And after I've been moaning how this has all been one-sided to Hamilton this week, he decides to shit the bed this week. And Max Verstappen absolutely nails him to the wall. That is how you beat Lewis Hamilton in the championship. You have to be right behind him all the time. And then as soon as there's a problem, you have to absolutely maximize. That's what Maximum Verstappen did. So he takes his first win in Monaco, takes the lead in the Drivers' Championship. Red Bull pulled to the lead in the Constructors' Championship. Holy fuck, it's game back on.
I cannot believe it. Red Bull in the lead of the Constructors' Championship. I know that's the one
that crazy. What year is this?
That Toto Wolff is that is the one that's really stinging him because he's like, see,
yes,
that's what happens. And we're all sitting here being like, this is what happens when you got Bottas, mate. This is like, if Bottas is not there banging that door down every week, getting second, and look, the team let Bottas down, and I want to talk about that.
You're absolutely right, except for what happened to Bottas this week.
except specifically this race. Like everything went wrong in every way possible for Mercedes. And that's what happens for them, right? When it rains, it pours at Mercedes. They never have just like an 8 out of 10 race. Yeah, this is the Netflix. Oh my God, this is the Netflix race.
I don't know if Netflix was actually following them, but I mean, hyperbole, like in metaphorically speaking, this is their Netflix race.
Do you reckon that Netflix, the producers do you reckon David Coulthard at Whisper Film Media or whatever it's called makes the call halfway through the race and it's just like, you know what, this was going to be the race we looked at Alfa Romeo and nope, it's all about Mercedes now. Get all the cameras, get over there now.
Actually, I don't have a note for this, but boy, the TV coverage was bad and everyone's bagging them out. They were bagging them out live on Twitter. They've been bagging them out in all of the commentary afterwards I've seen about this race. It was shocking. This was like, 7 years ago shocking where someone's going to overtake someone. Let's cut to the crowd. Let's cut to a replay. Like, fucking hell, just show the fucking cars. One thing happened and you missed it.
I know. Was it Gasly on Vettel? Something like that. And I was just like, Gasly, oh my God, two people side to side. Like they're not blue flags. Like this is racing. Yes. And then, and the commentators got amped up and then it cut away to some sweeping shot of some bullshit. Like, or someone coming to the pits. I don't know. Like it was just, it was really bad. And there were a couple of times when the graphics didn't match up with the screen. And and look, that makes it difficult for everyone involved, right? Because then I actually have sympathy for the commentators because they're kind of following along with the information that they are given. And if they're getting bad info, how do you expect them to commentate correctly? It's rough.
Of Venus Williams, though.
Serena Williams?
Serena Williams was, I don't know. Yep. It was Serena Williams, okay.
It was. I don't expect you to follow tennis players.
It's good to see a Williams who has been successful at sport at Monaco for a change.
Oh, did you
I went
plan
there.
that joke? That's a good joke to plan.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I feel sorry for Serena Williams got the
driver
great charge of should have got to wave the checkered flag at the end.
That's true.
But that is you would think of all people, she had the backhand grip on the two-handed backhand grip on the flag, but it was obviously so windy. Like, cause, she's one of probably one of the strongest, wrist arm actions combined in sport in the world. She smashes the backhand out and that flag just would not unfurl properly, and it's a hard thing to do, Rod. I don't think it's easy for anybody.
I don't think they let you practice. They just
No, there's no practice.
Like you'll just work it out on the day.
It's rough. It's very rough. It's very hard.
It's not great. So Mercedes, obviously they really let Bottas down when he pulled in and 3 wheels came off. And then the other one, I think it's still on the car. I think he'll be racing that one next race, I think, is how it works. They really fucked Bottas over. I feel really bad for him. The team I think that did really well was Aston Martin. Obviously, Perez had a bit of a recovery drive and gained some spots. One of the only drivers that really gained some spots, mostly through strategy by going long. But Sebastian Vettel jumped a couple of spots, and then Stroll jumped from out of the points into the points at Monaco. So pretty good drive and a really good result for that team.
Yeah, no, that really was. I mean, it's interesting because you kind of expect them to struggle like Mercedes might at a track like this, but they kind of showed that the development's happening. They've got maybe a good team. And look, it would be for the Vettel legacy. I don't want it to go badly. I feel similarly about Fernando Alonso. Like it would be nice for them to have kind of good ends to their careers because they are a big part of their sport. They are incredible racers. And why would you wish ill on them? Sebastian Vettel's not a bad guy. He did. Why wouldn't he want to have not a bad time? Oh, is Sebastian Vettel a bad guy?
No.
Hot take.
No. All I said was
girding my loins for the hot take.
Stop trying to. Oh, jeez. I don't want to burn you with my hot takes. I'll take it away. I'll give you a hot give instead. How about? I was going to say you wouldn't have pegged Sebastian Vettel as being the sort of virtuous wingman, but I think that perhaps you can only be shit for so long and still swagger around like you're top shit. So maybe in some ways, in that's there was a bit of rivalry between Stroll and Perez, and maybe Vettel and Stroll might have a more harmonious existence together in the sense that Vettel might say, look, I'm crap. I know it. You know it. And Stroll might say, same, bro. Then they would fist bump and they would just get out there and do the job and the pressure's off. So maybe that is the environment that they will do best in. I don't know.
Yeah, my mask is upside down. Your helmet's probably around the wrong way. We'll just get out there and give it a bash. Yeah, but I mean, it could suit Vettel because he probably just doesn't think anything of Lance Stroll from shit, you could be better than me. Like, it's probably more likely that Lance Stroll is like, I think I'm good, but I know I'm not incredible. I actually think that Lance Stroll probably is somewhat connected. I don't think he thinks he's the best new up-and-coming racer. Like, he's in a class of drivers. There's probably like 6 drivers younger than him that are better than him. He's not a bad driver. But he's been quietly kind of going about his business now for like seemingly the last 3 seasons and doing better than every season he does better than I expect him to. And maybe that you're right. I think you called it perfectly there that Vettel's just like, you know what? I'm at the sunset of my career. You're not a big threat. You're not going to be out there trying to prove that you're better than me. You're just trying to prove that you can even be, that you deserve to be in F1. I've already proved it. I'm a 4-time world champion. As long as I don't spin this weekend, I'm golden. So yeah, maybe that dynamic just works.
It might be a bit like that meme from Mad Men where like the young kid says to the old guy, I feel sorry for you. And then the old guy says, I don't think about you at all. Might be something like that. Bit of that dynamic going on. But back to the race. There's not too many other talking points. It was a boring race. We know it. You know it. Somehow there was repeated track limit infringements, which I find fascinating. How did they
drive into the casino? It's like, you drove off into the tobacco and got yourself some cigarettes and a milkshake and then hopped back in your car and drove on. Like, it just makes no sense to me at all. How? I've never heard of it.
There's the exit of the swimming pool where you might cut across. There's turn 1 where you might cut across. But other than that, I can't think of anywhere that you could even cut the track, even if you wanted to.
And you don't, there's no way you'd be getting an advantage by doing it, right? Like, it's just,
I mean, I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, maybe a little bit. Like, if you cut across a swimming pool, right, like you can almost end up in the wall there. Like,
well, yeah, that's
you can
true.
skip over the yellow.
That's valid. You've probably got a lack of grip, and you don't want to come out of there with dirty tires at top speed. That's for sure.
No, exactly right.
But I just thought that was a weird. I don't think I've ever seen that at Monaco. Repeated track infringement limits, and apparently, no, there was no safety car. Apparently, someone said there was not even any yellow flags. Apparently, that's the first time at Monaco that's never happened.
Yeah, we didn't see anybody crash, did we? It was just.
I had in my picks for fantasy, which we'll get to, well, maybe not in a second. I had 3 safety cars down because I was like, "There's 4 drivers that have never driven at Monaco before. This is going to be bedlam." But no,
yeah, surely Mick Schumacher's going to crash into Mazepin.
Yeah, boy. Well, he got him at the hairpin on turn 1, and then other than that, he didn't do so well. He fell back. I didn't see what happened, but he fell way back at one point, and then ended up virtually catching right up to Mazepin. So it shows how good he is.
Yeah. Well, and he crashed in qualifying, right? Didn't he? Or he crashed in practice?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, he's crashed more times than Mazepin. He's pushing a little harder, I think, than maybe Mazepin is.
Last time we recorded, we erred about whether we should talk about the McLaren retro livery. We decided we wanted to see it on track before we weigh in. So do we want to weigh in?
Yeah, I want to weigh in. I think it's cool. I think that I think McLaren's liveries have actually been pretty good these last few seasons. I think they like to go for some bold stuff. I love that blue. I think that's a really nice blue on a Formula One car. I think that's really quite good. And I liked their cool old school helmets as well with like goggles and stuff. Much better than Daniel Ricciardo's performance over the weekend.
Yeah, we haven't talked about it, and I'm not happy to.
No, that's fine. I mean, but yeah, what did you think of it? Do you like a fresh livery for a race? I
like when it's good. And yeah, I think you're right. McLaren have got one of the better liveries on the track. So when they replace it, I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. And it was pretty great. It really has like those echoes of like that old Williams livery did with the Martini livery, the shapes and the sweeping lines. That's a good livery. Everyone should take a page out of that book. Only if I had a nitpick, I don't love that it's an oil company that it's being promoting, but that's the only thing that I could point out and be like, don't love that. But, well done all round to everybody involved.
Yeah, I wonder why they chose to. I mean, all the teams always try to do something special around Monaco, it feels like. Yes, I agree. Not great that it's golf.
Not great.
But, it's F1. We've made our bed. We shall lie in it.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's about the race covered, I reckon, unless there's anything else you have in mind that you want to bring up.
No, I don't think so. I just feel bad for the engineer who screwed the screw of that wheel nut onto that Mercedes.
Has it even been?
Surely he would have known. Well, they apparently cross-threaded, so there was something wrong with it's gone on a little bit. You know, when you cross-thread a nut onto a bolt, that just happens. I
don't know what cross-threading is. I'd heard a rumor that it was maybe spun in the opposite direction and it just rounded the actual outside of the nut, and then they couldn't come. I don't know. I just don't know.
I had to explain it to my partner, like what cross-threading was. She's like, it's still stuck on there. I was like, I'm sure they can't, like, until you like just break it off, there's not going to be any way. And I'm sure that's difficult to do. And then it's fucked. Like, then you can't put a new wheel on after that. But I've never seen that. I've never seen that before.
I've never seen a car have to retire because they couldn't get a wheel off. I've seen plenty retire because they couldn't get a wheel on. That's standard.
Yeah.
The other thing I was going to say is it reminds me of when my brother, I think we went on a road trip or something. And my brother was under threat from my dad to be like, do everything to the car, fill it up, change the oil, pump up the tires, all that stuff. And he tightened all of the wheel nuts and did them up so tight. And I don't even know humanly how this was possible, but he did them up so tight that he actually cracked the bolt that was holding on all the nuts. No. And so we went down to the beach, and halfway down on the freeway, the car started swerving on the freeway, and I pulled over. I was freaking out, like, what is going on? I have no idea what that was. And then I was like, I can't see anything weird. Let's just get in and keep going. Got down there, had our holiday, came back, and on the way back, we went to the supermarket. And as I was pulling into the supermarket car park, this wheel just rolled down the road in front of us. So that's weird. You don't see that every day. And then I realized we're dragging on the ground, sparking everywhere. And the wheel had just completely come off. Just snapped. All 5 bolts had just snapped right off.
Jesus Christ. I can't believe you managed to get down there and back.
Well, yeah, I mean, better. I mean, we were probably doing 20 Ks in the car park maybe 10 rather than 110. So we were very lucky. But I won't be doing that again.
Nope. No. Jesus Christ.
What I was going to say, if you heard me gasp loudly before, it's only because it's time for fantasy focus. And before we started recording, I said to Zach, oh man, the bloody fantasy website is down, so we won't be able to do that. I mean, I'm secretly being happy because we have to be quick this week. But having said that, I've just logged in again and it's working. So I might just whip through it super quick. The top 3 on the podium. Number 3 this week, High Rake the Forest by Big Nick House. Very well done. Closely ahead. Is that right? No. Marginally ahead. Gunter's Choice by Michael B on about 10 points more. This is 156 for Big Nick House, 162 for Gunter's Choice. Top of the table this week is Yucknut and French Ghastly by Florge. I think Florge is the guy he's in the Discord. He's very good. Top
Adios,
of the table this
Yucknut.
week on 175. Adios, Yucknut. And he said adios losers this week because he is top of the table. I'll pull up the league rankings and then find us as well because that'll also show us whether we went up or down this week. So here's the top 3 for the league, the Super License League. You won't be surprised to know that we don't feature, but again, this is very similar. So in third position, High Rake the Forest by Big Nickhouse. On equal points and somehow ahead, I don't know how that works, is Yucknut and French Ghastly by Florge, both on 797 points. And then top of the table is a lot of Hassle by Kilogram 955 on 829 glorious points. I will try to just quickly find us. So I'll scroll. We're not on the first page, I'm sorry to say. You might be...
Can't believe you didn't gift me a win for my birthday weekend.
Jeez. I picked a great week to pull Verstappen out of my team and put in Hamilton. Hey. Well done, Rod. Well done. Zachary Priest in position 66, down 10 positions this week. Ahead of me. I have to scroll to the third page to find me. No, actually, I must have missed me somewhere. Whoops, go back. Fill for time. Everyone talk amongst yourself. Am I ahead of you? Oh my goodness, I am. Okay. I can do this in my head. I'm 8 points ahead of you. 62 positions, although down 1 week. Down 1 position this week. Amplified Ducks Racing by RW Gordon. Very close. Quite the rivalry we've got going on, but I've really, Verstappened you there, leapt ahead despite being obviously not as good.
Yeah, well, we'll see about that. Maybe, over the attrition of a season, we'll see how things shake out.
I think that's only fair. And I got a feeling that you're going to hold me to the wall in this week's Super Quiz.
We will accept a couple of questions. Should one only win one? Would one want to have won that one in round 1?
Can you repeat the question?
Lost the race notes somehow, but that's okay because I don't need them anymore. Zach, I believe that you're prepared what we call colloquially a Super Quiz.
Indeed. And you know what, Rod? It can be pretty risky to try to overtake at Monaco. So why don't we have ourselves a bit of a Scottish whiskey F1 quiz? Are you ready? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions for you that are loosely whiskey or Scotland related.
I thought you were going to say 6 drinks. Hit me.
Why don't we kick things off with question number 1, always a nice easy one to start us off. Which whiskey brand started sponsoring McLaren in 2005?
That would be Johnny Walker.
Bing, bing, bing. Johnny Walker, congratulations. Keep walking and drinking. They would probably, but not driving.
Don't drive,
Keep
walk
walking.
and drive and drink.
Walk and drink.
Yeah.
Maybe sit down, have a drink, then walk. Question 2. Rob Walker, who is the great-great-grandson of the company's founder, Johnny Walker's founder, John Walker, but we're talking about Rob Walker here, established his own racing team in the late 1950s. Which famous Aussie driver drove for Walker's privateer team?
Not Jack Brabham.
It was Jack Brabham.
Wow.
How about that?
Wow. That's impressive.
Wow. Indeed.
Yes, indeed.
Question number 3. How many whiskey bottles stacked up would it take to get around the entire Monaco race distance? Not just one lap, the entire 262 kilometres.
I love the way you said that. Stacked up, which suggests vertical, and then the track is horizontal.
End to end. End to end. Yeah, lie them down. Stack them up first, and then lie them down.
Where is F1
so I've got
Statsman?
I
crafted this question so that Jack the F1 Statsman will listen and tweet us not the answer,
tell me
but he'll
the
say he knew.
No. I've got multiple choice if you prefer.
All right. Yeah, give me the multiple
Let
choice.
me put you in. I'll give you the multiple choice. That way you're in the region, right? So how many whiskey bottles to get around Monaco's entire race distance? This is an average F1 stats, man. This is an average bottle size of 330 millimeters, just so you know. I went for a tall bottle, okay? Is it 788,745 whiskey bottles? Is it 555,314 whiskey bottles? Or is it 234,567?
Jeez, that's way more than I had in mind by back of the envelope numbers. All right, so you're going to have to give them to me again.
788,000, 555,000, or 234,000.
Let's go 555.
You went straight down the middle. You went Goldilocks. No, it is 788,000. 745. Hopefully my maths is correct on that. It feels about right. It's a long way, 260 kilometers. So, and they're small bottles.
Holy smokes.
That's about 600,000 litres of whiskey, by the way.
Or a good Saturday night. Ha ha.
1, 2, 3. Question number 4, I want to say. Sure. Which Scotsman raced in F1 most recently?
Most recently? Paul di Resta?
Yeah, Paul di Resta. Hungary 2017 as a replacement for?
I want to say Marcus Ericsson.
No, Felipe Massa. I was at that race.
Ooh, yeah, really?
Yeah, I was. I feel like it's the third time I've put that question on a quiz. It comes up all the time. All right, and Di Resta was racing for Williams, of course. Who was their famous non-whiskey drink sponsor that year?
Martini.
It was. You just called it out earlier. And then Martini race livery, which I knew that meant you were going to get the question right. That often happens, that an answer or a question from the race chat always ends up in the quiz.
Yeah.
Now, this one, not exactly whiskey related, but now if you follow me, Scotland, James Bond's from Scotland. Martini,
well,
that was the answer to the previous question.
Wait a second, what? James Bond is from Scotland? What are you talking about?
Yeah, he's Scottish. James Bond is Scottish.
The character?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. He drinks martinis. That was the answer to the last question.
Right.
And we're in Scotland. So we got the double. This is it's doubly good, but it's not about whiskey, even though this is kind of the whiskey quiz, but you get what I mean. Anyway, last question. Which driver named their car Honey Rider this season after the Bond girl in Dr. No?
Only one driver that I know of names his car, so I'll say Sebastian Vettel.
Spot on. Sebastian Vettel. It is Honey Rider.
Ding.
There we go.
He sure does that.
That is the whiskey business quiz.
I had heard that. I don't know. I couldn't have told you the name, but I had seen a headline or whatever that was like, hey, Sebastian Vettel called his car this. And I was like, oh, he's doing that again. Okay. All right. I see what you're doing.
Cool.
Because I thought he'd given it up for being, inappropriate or whatever. But hey, good on him
also,
for hanging in there.
It's a bit of frippery you don't need when you're not really winning races, right? A bit of the like, look at me, when it's like, you still do that? You're crap. Like, come on. Ooh.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. Well, Zach, I mean, I have a feeling that your final thought is probably going to be Scotch or whiskey related, but it's time to throw things open, throw the doors wide open. This is open season. We have a circle of safety around us. We can talk about whatever we want in our final thought. What are you thinking?
What am I thinking about the final thought? Look, I know I said that the cars are too big, and I know I always say that. And I know that people are going to say the cars are big because they're not just wide, they're also really long. They're massive cars, right? And whilst that is probably for safety reasons, and you see Grosjean have his big crash and get out, and that's all well and good and nice, but doesn't just this weekend just make you really feel that if we're going to be making the cars greener for the environment, so we're going to move to synthetic fuels and they're going to be more hybrid, isn't that a good opportunity just to make them just that bit smaller? I was looking, because I was back at, how I mentioned that there was a rear wing from the Honda Dreams car so I was at that office again this week, and I had a closer look at it. You're right. It is a rear wing. Spot on.
Is it really?
It's not a front wing. It's a rear wing. But you've seen that picture. It is incredibly small. It is very narrow. Even the cars back then, I feel like they were half the size as they are now. So that's my final thought. If we're going to make the sport more interesting, we want races to be more interesting and more overtaking. I don't think we're too concerned about massive top speed anymore. Maybe that's just me, but if the cars are going 300 versus 340 kilometers an hour down the straight, it's more about the cornering speeds that makes F1 look fast, because they don't even look that fast on the straight unless you're there. They really zoom past you, but it's the cornering speeds that are good. Make the cars a bit smaller, make them a little bit more energy efficient, because then the electricity will make them even faster on acceleration, and just take a big opportunity from when does the next agreement expire? 2026 or something? By then, I want to see miniature cars. That's what I want. That's my final thought.
Yeah, amazing. But imagine all that power, but in the go-kart. I mean, that would be a spectacle.
Exactly.
People would tune in, especially for Monaco, they would tune in for that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Well, that's a good call. I like that thought.
Do you have a final thought?
I'm going to go with something slightly different. I did tease last week that I was thinking about watching the race without commentary, and I did that this week. In fact, I, watched the race, which is in itself an amazing feat. Sat through the entire race. Don't know why I did. Regret that I did because it was dumb and boring, but made it through without needing commentary. And, I mean, luckily, didn't miss a thing. The one thing I did notice, though, was that I was loving it, watching the race, going, man, I can, look at whatever car or whatever time I want. Don't need to listen to, I thought it would have been insufferable with Hamilton not winning. All the commentary would have been like, well, how's Hamilton going to win? Look at all the replays of Hamilton and blah, blah, blah. But the one thing I did miss was when the little driver photo and sound wave popped up on the screen. There's a little bit of radio chatter, and I was like, ooh, did not think about that one. Would be nice to hear what they're saying. So then I thought, what we need is some kind of feed that's like no commentary, car sounds, and radio. But then when the race finished and I was quitting out of my app on my digital box, it said change TV camera view. And I was like, duh. It was right there the whole time. I can do that. I think that there's different camera feeds that I get through my app. And I'm going to try that next time. So I don't know if I can get one that's like the race feed, but I might be able to get something similar. And I think it has all the radio that goes through it as well with no commentary. So I'll give that a go and I'll report back.
I love that. I think that's a good idea. I just want way more options for my viewing experiences. That's how you improve the product for a digital generation. That's how the millennials want to watch it, Rod. They don't just want to be spoon-fed the exact way that, they don't want the propaganda F1. They want the raw. They want all the different cameras. I want commentators from both fans and professionals and extra. I want the whole gamut. Give me everything and let me choose how I want to enjoy this sport.
But imagine how much better the engagement would be if you could not only just tune in on a Monday morning and go, I want to watch the F1 highlights, but go, just show me the Sebastian Vettel highlights. That's all I want to see. Just give me the story of his race in 2 minutes. You know what I mean? You could really build fandom around the drivers as well.
Yes, exactly. I mean, people do that in other sports where they're just like, you like this one player. Here are all of their touches from, that game. that would be really cool. Race from the point of view of, even not just that driver. It'd be cool to do it from the point of view of that team as well. So you could have both drivers and the pit calls and all that kind of stuff. Put together a whole package. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, we should be doing it for Formula One. Why they never come to us for ideas?
That's free ideas. Zach, I'm going to let you get back to your holiday again. Happy birthday. And I'm sure if all of the listeners at the same time think, happy birthday, Zach, you'll probably feel it in your bones or your waters or something. So I'll ask everyone to do that now. Thanks very much. I hope that feels good. And, look, I've checked. So there's no race next week. So when you get back, if you're feeling full of vim and vigor, we will give out another episode of Dare to Swear. I think this is season 3, episode 6 before the next race.
Excited. Yes, definitely down for that.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Well,
lovely.
We've done final thoughts. We recovered the race. We even managed to squeeze in Fantasy Focus. Incredible. Great showing from us, I'd say. 10 out of 10 effort. And I guess this is where we end the show?
Yes, it is.
Great. Well, all that remains is for me to say thanks for listening. And until next time, my name's been Rodney.
And my name's been Zach.
Enjoy your holidays, Zach. Hope everyone has a great one. And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Go for it.
Oh, yeah!